Pure joy. That's the best way to describe the emotions from the coaches, the players, and the fans. The emotions are still high for many in this community. Shocked is the best way to describe the feelings from nearby neighbors. Many farmers, one way to preserve strawberries is to pick them ahead of the rain. This stems from an altercation that happened inside this parking lot at this Marine Federal Credit Union. We experienced a few flurries, but since then we've actually seen a little of those flurries pick up. And what I'm going to do for you is I'm actually going to step down and show you some of the accumulation that has picked up just within the 30 minutes. A few members of the board weren't so quick to vote yes for the funds, while other board members were adamant to improving the fund. This is a street where homeowners tell me they were anxious to hear the NCDOT's decision about widening the road and the impact it may have on them. Despite being built in the early 1700s with these same bricks and stones, this dam holds more than 122 acres of water on a day-to-day basis. In this budget, one key component is the funding for 10 new vehicles. This is where it all started 5 years ago behind the General Assembly. That's where 17 North Carolinians were arrested for fighting for the same fight they continue to fight for this evening.
Forward together!
This movement is a movement of people who are like-minded.
North Carolina NAACP.
A movement which ignited history in North Carolina.
It's a matter of us taking the stand for right as opposed to wrong.
For the Forward Together Moral Movement and the NAACP, this is a side of history to be on.
We need to remind this nation the need for immigrants, and not just the need, but the fact that this nation was built on immigrants.
For 5 years, speakers across the state have come to the Halifax Park to promote peace and strategize for the future.
We have to keep on fighting. It seems that every generation has to continue to hold up the fight to be able to make sure that justice rolls down like waters.
It's a fight Reverend Dr. Anthony Spearman says can't go unnoticed.
I'm ashamed and appalled at times to say that some of the same things that we're fighting for today are the same things that my father fought for some 50 years ago.
Forward together!
On April 29th of 2013, dozens of trailblazers like Reverend Nelson Johnson were arrested, which made history and ignited this movement.
If we have to go to jail again, we'll do it, because the life of our brothers and sisters, and indeed our own life, is more important than the momentary comforts we might have from standing apart from the struggle.
Togetherness is what Johnson says will help the next generation to come.
When we diminish the life of anyone, we might not be aware of it, but we are diminishing our own life. It's about the future of this nation.
I keep looking over there expecting him to walk out any time for us to see him.
It's a painful sight for many inside this small neighborhood as they try to remember the man who was known as Melvin Tyson.
All the kids, the boys, the girls, all of them just love Melvin. We have cried.
With heavy hearts and tears, their memories of Melvin Tyson will be unforgettable.
It was just a joy to see him outside and walk out and talk to him, or he come over and we talk. He was just a good neighbor, he was a good friend, and he was a good man. Ann Johnson grew up with Tyson and for the past 3 years has served as his neighbor. There's not anything bad I can say about him. My kids have cried all day. It's just really sad.
Johnson and her kids tell 9 on Your Side that he was known to give flowers to the girls while he taught Johnson's son math. As a great neighbor and a teacher, he didn't shy away from allowing kids to come over.
Other kids in the neighborhood that's come up to my house today, they've cried too. He had a big impact on everybody. He was the sweetest man.
The woman is really a good place to be if you want to stay out of trouble.
On any given afternoon, you can catch Chris Moore here at the Woodman Center with his friends on the court for a pickup game.
Keep people in a good place with good people around them.
When he isn't here, he's working or finishing up some schoolwork. Moore is one of the hundreds of visitors who benefit from the Woodman Center. And during Tuesday's meeting, the public spoke their piece.
We take our time, put our heads together, because ultimately this is a great asset for Kinston, North Carolina.
We really had no choice as taxpayers whether or not we were going to put into it.
A 9 on Your Side investigation determined that the financial future of the Woodman Center is bleak, with an estimated total loss of more than $1 million by the year 2024. Yet not all elected officials are for the decision to accept the donation.
It's losing money. It's not making money. Not all gifts are free, and this is certainly one of them.
On the other hand, some from the community believe the acceptance of the donation would not cost the city or taxpayers in the long run.
We have an opportunity to receive a donation from a building that's worth more than what we would be able to pay with taxpayers' dollars.
I'm hoping there's not strings attached. What has occurred is necessary.
Skepticism and necessity, the overall reaction from farmers across the East.
Any help certainly is warranted. Going to solve a lot of these issues.
Those issues are imperative for fixing the current state of local soybean farmers, as soybeans rack up close to $800 million for farmers, according to the North Carolina Soybean Producer Association.
Soybean prices have been under assault from different levels. The ag industry as a whole has suffered from lower prices. This could get really ugly.
Jeff Pete is a farmer and is keeping a close eye on what could potentially happen.
And it's gotten to the point now where fixing the problem is going to hurt a lot more than it would have had this been fixed years ago.
Initially, he was on the fence.
Are we going to see true trade deals that are good for the long term, where we can export and not worry about the retaliations, where it's a true free market?
Governor Roy Cooper is also an advocate for the rights of farmers.
I've been pushing the president to stop this trade war because often farmers are the ones who have the target on their back. We want to make sure that farmers are helped. I'm going to fight for North Carolina farmers.
There's nothing like the sound of learning inside this classroom. With a view like this, it's easy to forget that you're learning.
I like the fact that I can wake up when I want.
That's right, there's no school bells or early morning rush. Instead, for the Mohammeds, this is their classroom. They have 3 students in the house working through the program. Wally is the oldest in the program.
It's easier to excel and succeed.
In between his studies, you can find him playing the piano, drawing, or spending time with the rest of the family.
The support that they give me helps me get through everything I need to do.
That support is equally important for his sister, Sycia.
They'll help me study, or they'll make it in a fun way for me to get past it. Down or depressed because sometimes I can't get the things right.
There is a catch. Their mom is over their shoulder, making sure they aren't so quick to throw in the towel.
The program gives us that flexibility of them knowing life, learning goals, as well as academic. That extra knowledge of being independent.
It's that sense of independence and support allowing the Mohammeds to work towards success.
I have learned a lot.
I'm loving it.